So if you watch my upcoming Switch games for the month of March, which you should have because you should be watching all of my videos, thank you very much, you would know that probably my most anticipated game of the month is indeed Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It comes out on March 25th. We of course have seen it in Nintendo Direct presentations. We've gotten subsequent trailers that show some of the different abilities of the game. It looks awesome. I really like what they've done with this. I like the sort of pseudo 3D environments that you're in as opposed to the 2D style of gameplay that Kirby's kind of been stuck in since, you know, the DS and the 3DS games. Of course, there was Kirby Star Allies, which, I mean, it was all right. I know a lot of people seem to enjoy that game. That game was just way too easy for me. Like, there was no sort of challenge whatsoever. So I was hopeful with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Like I said, this game comes out on March 25th. Well, Nintendo just released a pretty sizable demo for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I decided to check it out. It took me about 21 minutes to get through the whole demo, and I definitely have a lot of things to say about this game because I feel like this game is going to be better than you think it's going to be. It's actually going to be, you know, a super good game. Will it be in the Game of the Year talks at the end of the year? I mean, you kind of have to have a story now to be in those conversations. It seems like you have to have a deep narrative, which, I mean, Kirby's not going to give you that. I don't know. I'm kind of the mindset that if I want like a deep story, I'll read a book, I'll watch a movie. I like to actually play a game, but I think this game shows a lot of promise. So we're going to talk about this demo, what I experienced from it, what I liked about it, what maybe I didn't like about it, and just come to some general conclusions because I really feel like this game is going to be super good. Like I said, the demo is pretty beefy, you know, all things considered. You get about 21 minutes of a game that you can experience. You get 3 different levels, all that sort of have their sort of own unique characteristics, I would say, that sort of show you the different styles of gameplay. Now, it of course starts out where Kirby is just like chilling, you know, he's chilling in his little hometown. He's flying around and he gets sucked up into the sky. Why does he get sucked up into the sky? Who knows, man? I'm not playing Kirby. I'm not playing Kirby for a deep story. Like I said, I'm obviously just playing this game for the gameplay. Now, all 3 of these levels consist of this sort of decrepit, broken down The Last of Us 2 city. And there's actually one part that happens in the game where you come across the car that really kind of feels like The Last of Us, how the enemies just sort of come out in this area and come out and attack you. It kind of reminds me of one of the scenes in The Last of Us where you're playing as, or in The Last of Us 2 where you're playing as Ellie and you're kind of going through a similar style area of that. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's probably just a coincidence, but I don't know, with video games, you don't really have coincidences. Now, like I said, it's broken up into 3 different levels. The first level is kind of like a more platformy style of level. It kind of just is getting your toes wet, kind of getting your feet wet into the gameplay style. Of course, Kirby is known as the throat goat. He will suck you down and, you know, it doesn't matter your size. Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter your size because Kirby can handle it. So, you know, shout outs to Kirby. You are indeed the throat goat, but you basically suck in different enemies to get their abilities and then you spit them out when you were done with them. Yeah, man, I could say a lot of things here, but I'm trying to keep this a little bit like PG-13. I'm not going for the full-on R stuff. But yeah, obviously that's a gameplay loop that's been in Kirby since day one, right? It's something that we've always seen. Of course, the different abilities are all unique to each other. There's different abilities where you have a sword. There's different abilities where you have a bomb that you could throw. There's different abilities where you have like ice mechanics. Obviously, they're not going to show their full hand of all the abilities, but like I said, sort of alluding to that car thing, that's one of the new abilities in this game is that Kirby can actually suck up like bigger objects. You actually get to suck up a car in this, you get to suck up a vending machine, and you get to suck up a giant cone, and all of them sort of play very differently. The car is sort of used as more of a traversal thing. You just kind of run through stuff. You could jump with the car as well. The vending machine, you're throwing out different soda cans. What's up with that, Kirby? You're kind of littering. I thought this game, it kind of has like a littering aspect to it where Kirby's kind of cleaning up this forgotten world, yet this pink son of a bitch is actually adding to all the litter in the world. So I don't know how I feel about that. And then you of course have the cone ability, which at first glance you're kind of like, well, who the hell cares about a cone? Like, it's a cone. But I like the way they do it because you basically get like a spike down attack that you can do with this. and it plays into the gameplay itself. Now, within these 3 different areas that you visit, the first 2 areas are the more sort of open areas. I would say the second area is probably the more open out of all of the 3 areas, and you kind of get a gist of how this game is going to work. It's not a full-on open world or anything like that. You're still pretty much put on a trajectory path, but there's open areas. It definitely feels a lot more open than previous Kirby games did. There's some exploration in the game as well, where you can find hidden paths and get hidden items, and I like that. It gives you a reason to want to go back and replay the game. It gives you a reason to want to go back and sort of experience the things that you might have missed out on. There's actually like a checklist. It's kind of like an achievement system at the end of a segment of the game. You basically get to learn about what sort of things you were supposed to do that are sort of like achievements within the game. I got most of them on my first playthrough. There was one thing that I did not get through, so I like that. It kind of gives you a reason to go back. It's like, well, what did I miss? What didn't I see? What didn't I get? And I think that's a good thing. Now, the gameplay is honestly very tight. Like, there's really no slowdown or anything like that. Kirby himself moves, or is Kirby a himself or a herself? Or are they just like androgynous like Knights is? We'll say they. Kirby themselves is, you know, very nimble. You can do the whole floating ability where you jump up and you keep tapping up, and you can of course go up higher, the little floating thing. Like I said, you of course have the ability to suck things in. There's a lot of gameplay here. Now, what I liked about this demo was the fact that there was actually 2 different difficulty levels that you could choose from. There's like a wild mode and a Star Breeze mode, I believe it was called. I just played the wild mode because, well, Kirby isn't really known for like being really hard. Like the old Kirby games were pretty damn hard. You play Kirby's Adventure on the NES, that's a pretty challenging game. There's definitely segments of the game that stick out as far as the difficulty is concerned. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that this was a very difficult experience. I did not die throughout this whole experience. I didn't really feel like I was in peril in this whole experience. And like I said, I was playing on the more difficulty level. So I am a little bit concerned about that. I'm a little bit concerned that the game once again is just going to be too easy. Like I said, this is a pretty early portion of the game. There is some sub bosses and then a big boss battle. I had really no trouble with these. Like it was pretty easy, but you know, it is earlier in the game. I'm sure there will be some more difficult sections in the game. They're just trying to whet your appetite with this. Now, where the game really stands out to me is within the presentation. It's pretty damn good. It's kind of jarring at first to see Kirby like going throughout this weird abandoned city. It's kind of like, why is he or why are they here? You know, that's kind of weird, but it clicks very quickly, I guess you would say. It all sort of makes sense, and I think it makes for a very interesting visual style and a really interesting visual experience. The enemy animations are all really well done. The boss himself that you fight is like this big massive gorilla thing, and he looks really cool too. He has a lot of really good animations. Of course, he has his tails as well. He has, you know, you can see like the fur, kind of like that Donkey Kong Country tropical freeze fur that, you know, everyone was like, you know, that's the big thing in video games right now is fur. You got the face fur for Aloy and Horizon Forbidden West, and dudes are like, why does she have a beard? And it's like, dude, chicks have like little face hair stuff. Like sometimes, like it's not like she has a full-on mustache. Have you ever been with a woman? Because you would see that. But going back to what we were talking about, I do really like the visual style of this game. There's a striking contrast of colors, and this is just the first area that you're in. The frame rate itself is very, very smooth, but there is something that I did want to mention, and that is the fact that we're seeing this more and more in Nintendo Switch games where stuff in the distance runs at a slower frame rate than it does until you walk up on it. Like if you watch it from in the distance, it was in Pokemon Legends Arceus where like the frame rate is very, very choppy for certain things. And you do see that in some segments of this game. Sort of stuff that's off in the distance is not running at the full frames per second that you'll see when walking up to it. Once again, it's not a huge thing for me. Like, you know, it's whatever. It is noticeable. It's something worth talking about. It's something worth noticing, but I don't feel like it detracts from the experience because it seems like this will be sort of a few and far between thing. It's just sort of in certain areas, there are things within the background that will be running a little slow, but the music sounds really good. The controls are super tight. Like I didn't experience any sort of control issues with this game. Everything I wanted Kirby to do, Kirby was easily able to do. So I'm very impressed. I am very, very, very impressed with this game. I was sold on this game before this demo. Now it's just like playing this demo, I'm like, yo, I want to play. Can I just play the full game now? Can I just play everything that is available to me within this game? Because you could see what they're doing with this. You could see that a lot of time and care and effort went into this game. It has a very beautiful visual style. The colors really pop up off the screen. I can't wait to try this demo in handheld mode on the OLED Switch. I'm actually going to try that after I do this. I just pretty much captured the gameplay of my experience and then made this video, but I'm really interested to see how the colors are on the Switch OLED screen because it just looks great. The water effects look really nice. The bosses, the enemies themselves are really cool. The minor puzzle elements that you have in the game really feel solid, and I'm sold on this game. Like March 25th, let's just get there. Let's get there. Let's get to March 25th because this game absolutely kicks ass. I had so much fun with this demo, and I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of fun with the final product. I do hope that there is a little bit more challenge in the game. That's definitely something that's worth mentioning. It's definitely something you will notice because, you know, if you play video games, you'll not really have a tough time with this game. So I'm hoping for a little more challenge, but overall, very impressed with this presentation. Like I said, this demo is currently available on your Nintendo Switch. So when you're watching this video, maybe download the demo and then check out the demo. It's about 21 minutes long, and then you could go back and play through the segments that you already played through, maybe check out some things that you missed, play it in different modes. But I'm very pleased with this. I'm very excited for the future of this game, and really March 25th is right around the corner. You actually get a code at the end of your playthrough of the game that will give you some more items in the full version of the game. Of course, there's still a ton of stuff that's in the full version of the game that we really haven't seen. There's like a hub world town that you can also go into and spend coins to get different things. There's collectibles you get within the level, just chock full of gameplay, and I'm really looking forward to this game. So let me know in the comment section down below if you knew that the demo was out, if you've played the demo, if so, what you think about it, or are you going to check out the demo after this video? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like and share the video, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Kirby's the throat goat, baby. Later.